Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the EPZ Q5 Pro, and as a bonus the TP35 in the same video, and the M100 tip, so it's small, medium and then large. So yeah, I thought I'd throw them all in one video just to make things a bit more like simplified. Anyway, usual full disclaimers. I'd like to thank EPZ, or EPZ if you're from America. I'd like to thank them for sending them over, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, the Q5, the previous model, was actually pretty good. Been a while since I've tried it. I never tried the TP30 model, so let's see what this one's like. This is, you can see, the CS43198 DAC, and yeah, let's just get into it. So let's have a look at this one first. So the TP35, 32-bit 284, does DSD up to 256. And PCM obviously, so specs. Okay, so output power, so it's 70 milliwatts at 32 ohm on the 3.5, which is average, and then obviously balance is 150, which is enough. It's not really that powerful, but a lot of these items for earphones, you don't need that power. That's the thing really. So we'll see what that's like. Obviously 3.5, 4.4. Like I said, it's dual CS43198. So let's have a quick look. So there's quite a small box, bit of information there. I can't understand the LED colours, but obviously I'll have a look at that in a bit. Oh wow, that's really small. I like that. Two buttons there, so it should have gain control and filters, so I'll have a check that. 3.5, 4.4, and in here should be the cable. Okay, that's nice. There's an adapter, so obviously I'll check that out. Very nice. So I've tried a couple of the EPZ adapters, well, dongles, and they're actually pretty good. So let's have a look at this. Dual magnet circuit and dual cavity Q5 Pro. Again, it's been a while since I've used the Q5, so it's not really fresh in my mind. So there's a frequency response graph. So it looks like quite good extension, but we will see. 3D printed acoustic cavity, patented. 1.2 meter cable, normal. Impedance 24 ohms, that's fairly normal. I think mine's a 3.5 millimeter in white. 2-pin, that's good, because the last one was MMCX. And yeah, 10 millimeter. Let's have a look. Frequency response graph there, which looks to be pretty similar to the one on the back. So let's have a look. That's quite nice. Have a look at them in yeah, let's have a look at them now. Let's give this bit of a wiggle. Very white cable, 3.5. Very small. They look basically the same as the old ones, apart from the design. Nozzle length looks pretty good, because sometimes these cables have a really short length. Obviously I'll unravel that though when I get to the review. So I think the price of this, I think this is about $55, I think. And I think the dongle, which is over there, I think it's about 60. I think about, as of this when I made this video. I think that's it. The paperwork, do not eat. Yeah, so don't eat, EPZ. And that's it. One set of tips. They look fine. The ball size looks pretty good. And I think that's it. So yeah, I have no idea what these are like. Well, all these units. So as usual, spend a bunch of time with them. And yeah, so for you it's a couple of seconds. For me it's a few hours. So yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. So welcome to my review section of EPZ TP35. I thought I'd do this section first, and then the next clip will be the Q5 Pro. So anyway, this is the TP35. This is what it looks like. Obviously I've just got this plugged in. That's what it looks like. Everything connected, 3.5, 4.4. Wait for focus, obviously volume up and down. And before we get into that, when I flip this side, there's more information. So you can do UAC 1.0 for consoles. Obviously the colours for whatever the sampling rate you use, DSD. Now here's information about the volume. You can see there. up and down, like the steps. If you hold it down, it's quicker. Also is gain. So you press up and down volume button for gain, but then you do it for longer, turns the LED display off, which is there. And if you hold it for longer, it's the filters. Now if you do it with the filters, I found that it turns the light on and off and the filters, so you just have to play around with it a bit, and obviously there's all the information you need. So filters, so it has about 5, I think. I found that those very subtle changes, really, like a lot of filters are, like, they make a difference, but it can be really small. So I found them very small. Obviously I'll talk about sound in a bit. Yeah, so filters, it's got them. If it even had one filter, to me, I'll be happy. But it's got 5. Play around with them, see what suits your preference, basically. Yes, so the colours of it, basically, like I said before, in here, it changes colour. You know, obviously, like you saw on here, it's quite bright, so just bear that in mind. That's why they included a way to turn it off, which I do like a lot. So fair play to EPZ for doing that. So yeah, have it on, have it off, your choice, really. Power wise, so I think it's about 150 milliwatts at 32 ohm overbalance, and then like half that for 3.5. Now, to be realistic, it's not the most powerful dongle DAC out there, but it's actually enough. So I've tried this with a planar one of the 3.5, the Hiddy's MP145, just a quick example, and it works fantastic. You don't even need balanced or 3. I can use both because I've got both connectors, but you can use it on both, and it works absolutely fine for either. Now, 150 milliwatts doesn't seem like a lot, but when I use this with my computer, that's way more than enough. Phones are a bit different because obviously they put out a bit less power, sorry. But yeah, fine. Only really you need to use the balanced, or maybe a desktop more solution, is if you want like slightly better sound quality, or you really need the headroom. So planar headphones comes to mind, or some really hard to drive headphones, something that's 600 ohms, something like that comes to mind for something like that. But yeah, power wise, it's actually enough, really. So buttons on this, like I said, so that's it, plus or minus. Obviously you saw in the instructions, it's got multiple functions. And yeah, one thing to note before I forget, now on here I have no idea what this means. So here it says see, for volume, short press volume down, blah, blah, blah. After pressing home for 1 second, the volume decreases continuously. Press and hold, then turn on the device, and this will turn to forced burning mode. I don't know what that means. If somebody knows in the comments. Yeah, so forced burning mode. So whatever that is. It's a bit of a funny name. So compatibility wise, I tried this on Windows 10. Perfect. You never need any drivers. I've tried this without this connector on my phone. Works absolutely fine. Also, this is independent volume control. So it's better, for my opinion, better for laptops and computers than phones, because you have to control your phone volume and then this volume separately. So it's, well, your independent's better for, like I said, computers, laptops, things like that, really. So sound of this, what does it sound like? So it's got a dual CS31998, so it's a Cirrus Logic DAC. Well, I think it's got 2 of them, which to me means very detailed sound, which also means can be a bit clinical. And that's probably my take on the sound, a very clinical sound. So this is very clinical compared to, and using it with an earphone, which sounds very bright or very dry. It's a very dry sounding ear, like, you know, your chain is very dry sounding, but it's very accurate, is the best way to describe it. So if you want something warm tuned, it's not that. So to think of analytical, clinical tuning, and that's what, to me, that's what that sounds like. If you like that, if you like that, if you don't, then you don't really. So yeah, warm. Does this actual unit get warm? Because some of these dongles can get warm, or some get really hot. Now, me using it for a good few hours just before I just press record on the video, it didn't really get hot. So I'm surprised. What I was expecting it to be. Some of these get really hot, but this doesn't. So yeah, I think I'm worried about the heat. The Centrance one I reviewed a couple of years ago, that thing got really hot. but it was really powerful for its size, really. Yeah, so only a couple of things left to talk about now. So noise floor, again, these modern dongle DACs, you don't really hear anything because I think the impedance is really low. I don't know exactly what that is, but yeah, really low noise floor, which is good. Obviously supports DSD if that matters to you. And I think that's going to be pretty much it. So conclusion is, what do I think? This is about $55, $60. I think it's really good. I can't really fault it. I like they include the adapter. I'm not really keen on how to do the filters. It's a bit messy, just trying to go between filter 1, or if you want to go to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It should be straightforward, but it's not, because every time you try and do it, it turns the lights off and seems to, like, if it's just me, it seems to like skip a step. But if they could either have just one filter, which I'll be happy with, or make that clearer to do the filter steps is one. And I think that's it. Maybe more power, but that's just being really picky, but I was fine with it, really. So yeah, for the price, it seems really good. Really compact size and really get hot. Again, independent volume control, that's either a big positive or a con, depends on your use case. For portable use, not my cup of tea, that kind of volume control, but for fixed with the computer or laptop, like I just said, works fine, and for the price it works good. Yeah, not much to say, does the job, so I think I'll end it there. So yeah, next clip will be the actual earphones, and I'll talk about the tips I got as well, those I think is M100. So yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. Yes, I filed onto the review section the EPZ Q5 Pro plus the M100 tips. So quickly go into these. So these are just small, but obviously this is for an example. These tips in here, the ones that came with, obviously came with those. So what do I think? Just to quickly go over these. I prefer these tips over these, but obviously I've used both for the review process because these are kind of sticky. They seem to grip better than them. Tuning wise, I didn't really notice any difference. It sounded the same. I just think it was a bit of a better fit than those. And yeah, good quality tips. Just make sure you pick the right size. Again, I've got small, obviously there's medium and large. So yeah, good tips. Sound wise to me, didn't really see, didn't see any difference. And yeah, so onto this. So this is a 3.5mm version, obviously done white. Cable, that bronze, quite good. I think this cable is pretty good. It's fairly thin, but it's quite supple. And that's what he looks like. There's a chin slider, but it doesn't really, you can see it's just loose. So it really doesn't do much. Oops, I had that loose by accident. So yeah, these was actually quite tight, so I've had these loose just to get them off. But obviously that's what it looked like. The shape is very similar to the previous model. That's a bit different. Also, I'm glad they went to 2-pin as well. I'll just take that off, and obviously that's the actual shape. I like them in white. I think it looks pretty good. Q5 Pro left. Take that off as well. So yeah, so comfort and fit. Now I think these are actually pretty comfortable. They're very small. That's long enough, the actual nozzle length, not to cause any problems, but fit and comfort was pretty good. Did take a bit of tip swapping to get the right size. So these are small. And the ones I used, the ones that come, like the normal white ones, it was also small. So I normally use medium tips, so I had to mess around a bit to get the right fit. But after that, it's actually fine. And yeah, that's what they look like. So build quality, go over it quickly, seems good, no issues at all. Yeah, can't really fault it really. So timbre on this set, tonality is... it's very good, but it sounds a bit thin in its nature. It sounds a little bit... They're not bad at all, I'm saying, just slightly unnatural, because it's the EPZ models typically have like a brighter air to the sound. Obviously, I'll talk about that when we get to the same parts. But yeah, good, but not the best. Technicalities on this set, they seem really good. I think maybe because they are a brighter set to give you that illusion of detail. But yeah, and then the bass decay was really quick as well. So they seem to use quite a good DD. But that makes things not as fun, but I'll get to that in a bit. So soundstage and imaging. So I think the imaging was really good. Soundstage seems pretty big. But I didn't try this for gaming this time. But yeah, not too bad at all. So sound, so before I ramble on too much, because this video is going to be really long. So as you can see, I thought I'd overlay with the original Q5 because somebody's probably going to ask me about it. So as you can see, not much difference apart from low end. So anyway, Q5 Pro is the not a bassy set. As you can see, it's more towards sub bass. So as you say, I typically like electronic music. I found these sound a bit thin in that regard. The originals more so, because there's a little bit more mid bass. Not much more, there's a little bit more. But yeah, for electronic music, they are okay. But if that music really needs that mid bass punch, it does lack a bit. But if the track has got sub bass, obviously you hear it. So I prefer mid bass over sub bass most of the time, really. And that's that. So mid range, very detailed set. So vocals sound good. Female sounds better than males. Male vocals can sound thin. So for example, I'll try this with Sam Smith, for example. He sounded a touch thin. He needs a bit more body to his voice, just because these are not a bassy set really, but very detailed set really. I wouldn't say these are, yeah, kind of, that's basically it. Kind of more of a detailed set. They're not neutral. They're just on the side of a little bit on the thin side. So treble, as you can see, quite a detailed set. Now EPZ seems to aim for that. Also, you can see that spike around 14k. Now I felt that sometimes, but bear in mind you're not really meant to rely on these graphs after 10k, but you can feel it a bit. I wouldn't say it's fatiguing, but sometimes you hear that. 8k is just from the coupler, but they all obviously are a bright set. So normally like that 2k, I'd prefer it to roll off, but it does go in a bit more. So on complex pieces of music, I found these seem to be really good. But I think if you listen to these at a higher volume, they will fatigue you. They seem more of a treble focused pair of earphones, so you really hear 2k and onwards, for what I could tell. So everything was detailed, instruments all detailed. For like where there's multiple singers, like female singers, you hear everything. On the whole, detailed set, but I didn't find them really as a fun set. So for me, electronic music didn't really suit that. For classical, there was a very detailed pair for that, which seems quite good. And you could space the instruments, I think, very well. But for electronic, I don't think they really suit that. The too bright sounding, and the lack the mid bass punch you want for that, from my experience really. And yeah, I won't go on too long. So what do I think? So these are about $55, I think. Not a bad set. Again, it's a set that doesn't suit me personally. But if you're not a bass head and you like a more detailed sound, these are for you. These don't lack any treble detail at all. They don't really lack any treble extension either. Detailed set, not a fun set. But I do like the 2-pin cable, which is good that they've actually gone that way. I think they're a good fit. Again, I think these tips are a bit better than what they include, those white ones. Obviously that's an extra cost, I bear in mind. Yeah, that's it. Good imaging as well. Stage seems big enough. But for me, just they're not fun enough for me really. I like a bit more fun tuning, making it seem quite strong, as you can see. But yeah, good sets, just not for me, but I would not rule them out. So would I still recommend these? Sure, just they're not recommended, for me really. But yeah, I think I'll end it there. So thanks for watching. Take care. If you think I missed anything, please do let me know in the comments as per usual. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. And sorry about the long video, but I think it's just better to fit 3 products all in one. So yeah, see you in the next video.